going to talk about our like Filipino American married life. The difference of Filipino and American and how we understand each other, how the language barrier, and yeah, we're just gonna talk random shit here. So, for the start,
I don't remember it being super difficult to adjust when you first got here. I remember being really happy because you'd been gone for a year. But
no, I remember that we kind of, because I'm adjusting and we don't know how to understand each other, because I'm like being a bebe sometimes, and
that wasn't really the first week though.
That we're having a trouble, like
the first week.
Not really the first week. I mean,
maybe after a
maybe
month,
after
or a couple weeks.
going to a month.
Yeah.
Because we
You're
don't.
saying before the wedding.
Before the wedding, yes.
From your point of view, we argued a lot right when you got here.
Yes.
So I don't remember that.
We argued a lot. Remember that we were planning the wedding and we were being so stressed out and.
Yeah, I do. I mean, okay, here. Yeah, I do remember a little bit of that before the wedding. I wouldn't say it was like overwhelming. I would say more often than not we were still happier versus arguing.
Mm-hmm.
That there was like a few choice instances of like bigger arguments, still over nothing. But I also remember, because we were doing a Catholic marriage, we did premarital counseling. So
and
like anytime we really had an issue, we had a session scheduled about every week. So like we got to kind of talk about it there. So I feel like that kind of really helped us, because if we did have any growing pain, that's what I'm saying, like I can't believe you have such a negative memory of you first getting here. All I remember is good times.
No, I mean I'm going there. We were fighting, we were arguing. The wedding counseling really helped us to build a foundation on our relationship. Well, I'm suggesting you guys, if you are in a relationship and you feel like you're not comfortable and you are not comfortable talking to each other about your opinions to each other, you're scared that you might hurt her or him, I think it's better to do a counseling. It doesn't mean that you are doing the counseling, you are having a problem, or you are getting into this point that the relationship is not going to work out, but it's really help to build the foundation.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, if you're having problems, you should definitely go to counseling. I feel like so many couples just kind of give up on their relationships, and that's why the divorce rate is so high. Whereas if you just, I mean, we haven't even been married a whole year, so I can't really talk like I've been. But I'm just saying, I feel like people give up way too easily. But yeah, you just want to talk about your issues and communicate to each other. And it sounds so cliche and like obvious, but it's true. There's little things, and I remember like we had little disagreements about things, and I won't go into the details, but basically it sums down to
I don't agree.
Yeah, she doesn't agree with my point of view, and I don't agree with her point of view, and that's okay to have a disagreement. But the stipulation, we talked to our counselor about this, and it was that it made her uncomfortable, so therefore I should recognize that and then yeah, so I'm trying to think of like an example of a situation like that. Let's say that there's like a gambling past in somebody's life, right? So somebody doesn't feel comfortable with gambling, and then the other partner gambles like every week, right? So then maybe you two have different points of views on the gambling, but if you can't reach a compromise, I mean, you should seek for a compromise first. But if it's to the point where like that gambling almost feels like they're cheating on you with that addiction, and that can go for any addiction, alcohol, anything. And they talked about in multiple sessions actually this theory of like cheating on them, but not in the conventional way where you're sleeping with someone else. It's more like you're breaking their trust and things like that. And even if you're telling them, it's not quite the same thing. So if you guys have to figure that out and figure it out early in your relationship. That's why this premarital counseling is such a good idea, because when you're signing basically a contract to live with each other forever, these are the kind of things that you want to know, because you don't want to have this happen 5 years down the line, that somebody has a gambling addiction, and then now you've got all these problems, and maybe you have financial issues, things like that. And so you guys need to be comfortable together with whatever your decisions are.
The thing is, you have to compromise to each other.
Yeah.
What is comfortable for me or for him. So yeah, that's one thing that we learned in our early time of relationship.
And then on the sense of that, I mean, I think everything in moderation is good, in the sense of like, but some people can't control it, so like, and you have to be aware of what your addictions are. And if you can't, like, take like smoking versus social smoking, or drinking versus social drinking are like two of the most common addictions, smoking and drinking. So like, some people can have one drink and they're done, whereas other people they can't. And then some people can have just like a cigarette with friends when you're drinking or whatever, but other people need to smoke like an entire pack a day. There's that difference in you know, so you need to recognize when you actually have a problem. Again, it's a cliche, but it's true. The first step to solving a problem is recognizing that you have a problem. So addictions are definitely something that can break up relationships. But a lot of it's just about communication. Like, your partner needs to know, recognize, and accept you for your addiction as well.
But you have to moderate it for...
Moderate it, well, if you can. If you can't, then you just cut it. I mean, because it's on that sense of the cheating, like, you're choosing one or the other. So, yeah, we're getting a lot into like the counseling, but it's not always just about addictions. That was just the example I was thinking of.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one is, if you are arguing and sometimes we don't feel like talking right away and fix the problem right away. So the thing that you have to do is, just for example, we argue and then I'm not ready to talk about the problem. I will just let Trevor know that, hey, I'm not ready to talk about this today. Maybe we can talk about this tomorrow. And yeah, just reassure your partner that you're going to talk about the problem, and don't let it pass day by day that you still have that problem or issue. And
that was super hard for me, because for me, like, I want to talk about it like right away, but they literally tell you, like, it's okay to take some time. There's these steps you can take when fighting, and things you shouldn't do when arguing. Because arguing, everybody's gonna do it once in a while. If you don't, I don't know, you're two saints, or you lie to each other. And, like, almost everybody argues, and it's about trying to control yourself and the argument itself, because you don't want to insult the other person, because what is that going to accomplish? You don't want to bring up the past or change the subject to something else, because again, you're just like, at that point, you're just trying to win the argument, whereas the point of the argument should be reaching a compromise or fixing the problem.
But if you are letting it pass day by day and you don't...
And if it's a little thing too, I mean, maybe you don't even need to resolve it. You just kind of... Sometimes that's why it's important to take a moment to cool down, as she calls it. She needs like a moment to cool down. Because sometimes you just are really hangry, or you're just sleep deprived, and you literally just need a second, or you need a good night's sleep, or you need a meal, and like it felt like you were gonna start arguing, and so like step back. Oh, like I got a great example. So before she went back to the Philippines, when we were still dating, or I don't know, is it considered dating or is it considered relationship? I don't know what you call it. We were boyfriend girlfriend.
Okay, what are chances? We
went to Disneyland, and then when we first got there, it wasn't even that long of a plane ride. I don't know what your problem was, but we got there.
Girls.
And you were being like so.
Moody?
What is the word? Tomboy?
Yeah, tomboy.
Yeah, because, and it was really just that you needed to eat. Because we got there and you took like a sip of alcohol and like a bite to eat, and you were like instantly calm. And you started like hugging me, and I'm like, what the heck? You've been like mad at me for like 3 hours. You were like, no, I was just hungry. So,
well, I don't know.
But we didn't get into an argument, is what I'm saying, because I was just patient and I waited. And I will say that I think I was a lot more patient in the beginning now.
Yeah.
I've lost some patience throughout, and I'm trying to regain that, because that's something you have to adjust to. When you only see somebody like once a week, or you only talk to them on the phone, then it's a lot easier to be patient. When you're having to like
forever,
when you see them every day, then it's different. But I'll also say, now that you're here every day, when there's times when I have to pull double shifts all week, and they're long shifts, and I never get to see you, like this week, like we really missed each other.
Okay, so back to the topic.
Oh, but I did want to say one more thing. So what was funny is I'd completely forgotten about all this, because one thing I will say is we can keep talking about problems we used to have, but we really don't have these anymore. And we've been married now
for 6 months.
It gets better through time, and you stop having little arguments. And a lot of it was stress from the wedding too. We still do the cool down. I just don't think about it anymore.
We still do the cool down, but sometimes I think if we can talk the problem right away, we're still doing it. It's just kind of depends.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the situation. But
if you feel like, I don't know, maybe we have a connection that, okay, maybe we can talk about this now, and maybe this problem we cannot talk about, so we have to cool down. So
sometimes it's definitely a good idea to employ the cool down. We can talk about language barrier since we're in it.
Yeah, okay, we're just gonna talk about language barrier.
It's hard. Like I said,
it's hard, especially if the couple is a different, what do you call them?
Yeah, multilingual, multilingual couples. And I mean, it's almost more of a problem that she speaks such good English, because then when she screws up her English, it's like a surprise to me, because she speaks like fluent, coherent English, but then she'll just say something really weird, and I'll take it the wrong way. But then really she just didn't mean to say that. And so it's hard for me, and it's mostly something I need to work on. Like, she can try to work on her, but it's kind of a thing where your mind doesn't quite think that way.
Alright, it's hard to, in the first phase of your relationship, if you are not used to communicate with other language. So yeah, I'm just so thankful that Trevor understands me. So yeah. So
well,
the fourth thing is the space, like our me time, personal space.
That's something that won't matter right away, but you'll grow into wanting that.
Yes, if you are together and then you've been together, you have to make your personal space. Not like you have a space in your room and I have my space in my room. Not like that.
Well, you need that too.
Here is the personal space is just let him do his thing if he wants to. Don't just like, oh, are you doing this again? Are you doing that again? Just let him do what he wants.
Well, that goes both ways.
And then he will let me do what I want to. So it's kind of, you have to give each other
But
personal space.
Don't be afraid to be like, I feel like you're not spending enough time with me. And then as the partner
Like-
receiving that comment, don't immediately jump to
conclusion that
like, what do you mean we always spend blah 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 blah. Like, listen to what your partner's telling you, because sometimes it's not even about really how much time, what they're telling you. If they're saying we don't spend enough time together, they're not saying like this is a bad relationship. They're saying I miss you, I want to spend more time with you. You know, you have to kind of read between the lines. And like, if they're in that was another thing we talked about at counseling. It's called door opening moments. And sometimes they won't even speak it to you. Sometimes you could just notice in how they're acting, and then maybe you don't want to deal.
Respond.
Yeah, and the author of this book was saying how there was like a moment when he could tell his wife was like depressed from something, and then he really wanted to finish his book that night because he was on like the last chapter of his book, and he was ready to just like brush his teeth, get in bed, and finish his book. But he's like, this is a door opening moment, you know, that's something, like clearly something's wrong.
Her.
So that's something, that's a moment you want to take advantage of, because those moments will bring you closer together. Because when you notice something's wrong, and then they know that they can rely on you, and they can always come to you, and even if they don't, you'll still be there. You know, that those are the kind of things that strengthen your relationship.
So yeah, just you know, he can go out with his friends, I can go out with my friends. It doesn't really matter if he texts me, if he calls me, or send a picture just to send a proof that he's with friends or something, because you know,
you gotta have trust. If you don't,
trust each other.
Although the last,
but we still text and hey, I'm with somebody.
Yeah, say where you are, and then kind of give them updates. Because if you're out till like midnight, you could be dead in a ditch somewhere. But so that kind of thing's just more security for them. They're not worried that you're like out cheating on them.
Yeah.
Or I mean, if you are, then that's a whole problem you should be talking about. But yeah, you need to communicate, but then also be understanding that like when you're out with friends, like, would you want to be on your phone texting 24/7? You know. So yeah, give them their own space, and then not all hobbies you have to share. Like, there's things I do that she doesn't like, and there's things that she likes that aren't my favorite. But you can also, again, make more compromises. You know, she wasn't a gamer when she came here, but now she's started playing more card games and board games and things like that. And now we've gotten to the point where she's asking me to play games. So, you know, she kind of found that there's, that she does like doing that. And in a similar kind of way, I never thought I'd be like a vlogger, but that's something that she's dreamed of, and she's gotten me to like it. So find that hobby, and then if you don't like it, good, just tell them, hey, you know, this isn't for me. And then as the other partner, you need to accept that.
Yeah, and then if we are playing game, he knows that I cannot play like the whole day, or like, you know, 5 hours straight. I need a break. Give me a break.
And that took me some getting used to. So like, what we'll usually do is, if I want a game for longer, so like we'll play a game together, and then we'll go have a little bit of separate time. She can watch her TFC or her vlogs or whatever, and I can watch my YouTube or play my games or whatever. So like, you know, spend some time together, and then that's time you can share too. Like, you don't have to be in separate rooms. Sometimes we'll just be sitting in bed next to each other, playing on our phones, and just like hold hands or whatever. So it's sometimes you just need to be near somebody to have that
bonding.
That bonding time. That's not to say to always do that, but it's helpful just to be around the person.
Yeah.
Remember how how there's like the core values, or like the, what is that called? The 5 ways that we're loved. Is it
That
5?
is the 5 language.
5 love language. Do you remember them all?
We took that test and we kind of figured out how we feel loved to each other. So me, I feel loved if you physical. So it's not like if you, it's not like you always kiss and stuff like that. At least you know, just Trevor said, at least close to each other while
Holding
doing your
hands,
own thing.
And I think that was my 2nd place. But this test is great. You can find it online. Maybe we'll leave a link in the description.
Yeah, it's called 5 love language.
Yeah, so it's receiving gifts, acts of service, physical touch, quality time. It's I don't remember what it's called, but it's speaking it or texting it. It's like saying the physical words, I love you, or saying you look so beautiful, or, but it's like the vocal,
complimenting.
Yeah, like compliments. Those are all the ways that they appear. Could be in text, could be in, so like recognize what their top one is. So for her, it's physical touch. So I know
I feel love if he's holding my hands while walking. Yeah. I feel love if he's giving me a hug. And if you don't give me a hug when he gets home, I was like, why are you not giving hugs?
Yeah.
You know?
So even when it's been like a long day, try to, because those traits are also the way we hurt each other. Because if I don't hug her, exactly what she just said, when I don't hug her when she gets home, that means maybe I'm mad at her, and then that hurts her feelings. Or since mine is quality time, if she's out with her friends all the time and we never see each other, then I'm not feeling loved, right?
Yeah.
So like I just said, I've really missed her this week because we haven't spent a lot of time, because that's my main love language. So even when we're texting, I'm not getting that quality time aspect. And what's funny is her top is physical touch, and then her second is quality time. And I think my first one is quality time, and then my second one's physical touch. So we actually have almost the same love language, so that really helps, because then you can understand each other better. But if you have different ones, you need to understand kind of the differences.
Yeah. So that's the 5 love language that you can take, and you can better understand each other. So it will help you to build your foundation in your relationship. Yeah.
Hey guys, sorry our camera kind of cut out there. We were going to do a closer. So this is us closing out.
Yeah. As what we said before our camera died, we are not a professional to advise you. It's just based on our experience. So,
but we did have professional
help. It's just based of what they said. So maybe it's different on your story, maybe it's different on your situation. So we don't know. It's just our experience. So we are just kind of share how it works in our relationship.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments below some things that might be rocky in your relationship, or some things that help you with problems in your relationship. If you're willing to share, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, so if you guys are new to our channel, please hit the subscribe button and join the family, and watch for more videos.
Don't forget to ring the bell for notifications so you can see when our next video comes out.
Yeah.
We'll have a part 2 to this, or we'll give you a little tour coming up.
Yeah, well, we're excited to show you that, guys. Bye.